Not long ago, this family of 8 won the jackpot of their lives with a cash 5 ticket. With $65 million in their hands, they thought all their problems would just disappear, but they were wrong. As soon as they brought that money home, their life turned into a living nightmare. So much so that they started regretting winning the cursed lottery in the first place. So what really happened after they brought home $65 million? Let's find out. Dream came true. This is the story of Angel Morrison. She was just a regular teenage girl living in a crowded house on Long Island, New York back in 2009. She lived with her 5 sisters and her parents and was living the kind of life where money was always tight and everyone just did their best to get through the day. Her parents were loving, but they were always stressed by their finances. They were trying to hold the family together while barely staying afloat. In fact, the family was just days away from losing the house they were living in. Angel didn't fully realize how serious things were, but her older sisters did. Her mom and dad worked hard their whole lives. They were high school sweethearts and married for decades. They even used to run homeless shelters. But over time, those shelters were taken away after the county accused them of owing money they didn't owe. They didn't have the means to fight it then, so they lost everything they had built. That loss crushed them financially and emotionally. Still, they kept moving forward, raising 6 daughters with what little they had. Then, one day in December 2009, just 2 weeks before Christmas, everything changed. Angel, her mom, and a few of her sisters were at a small convenience store in Rocky Point. It was just a local shop where you could grab snacks, soda, and maybe a small gift or two if you could not afford anything big. And that's exactly why they were there, to pick out one small item each for Christmas. That was all her mom could afford that year, one tiny gift for each daughter. As Angel walked into the store, something caught her eye. She saw a bright sign flashing the Mega Millions jackpot. It read $165 million. She stopped, looked at it, and told her mom to play the lottery, but her mom barely looked up. She shrugged and told Angel that nobody ever won those things. Angel listened to her mom's dry response and she went off to pick out her little gifts, but something in her gut would not let it go. On their way to the front counter, she asked her mom again to purchase the ticket. Her mom was still not convinced, but maybe something in Angel's voice got through, or maybe she just didn't feel like arguing. So she grabbed a play slip. First, she tried using all 6 daughters' birthdays as numbers, but Angel stopped her and asked her to play a random number. So her mom gave in again, hit the quick pick, and got a random set of numbers printed out on a small white ticket. And that was it. They left the store, went home, and moved on. The ticket was forgotten just like every other ticket before it. 4 days later, the Mega Millions numbers were announced on the television. Angel was already at school, sitting in her first period class, when things started to get strange. She got a call to come down to the main office. On her way down the hall, she bumped into her older sister, and they looked at each other. This was weird since both of them were called to the main office at the same time. But then they saw their mom rushing through the school's front entrance, and that's when they knew something strange was happening. She looked like she had been crying. She was wearing baggy clothes and her face was filled with panic, but she would not say a word. Angel asked her a million questions. She asked if their dad was okay, if her siblings were okay, if everything was fine, but her mom did not tell them anything. She just promised the girls that she would explain everything when they got home. The drive home only took 8 minutes, but to Angel, it felt like an hour. So when they finally pulled into the driveway, Angel ran to the door and entered the home. She was expecting some kind of disaster, but to her relief, everything was fine. Her sisters were home. Nothing was broken or burning, but then she was confused. Why did their mom just take them home in the middle of the day? Then her mom told her to wait at the stairs. Angel's dad came down, and when she saw him, her heart started pounding out of her chest because it seemed like her dad had also been crying as well. He pulled Angel and her sister into a huddle with her mom and told the children they had just won, and the struggle was finally over. The jackpot was $165 million, but after taxes, they took home $65 million. It was still more money than most people will ever see in a lifetime. Back then, Angel did not understand what $65 million meant. She only knew that her family had been rescued. What she didn't know was that her family was about to be pulled into the curse that follows so many lottery winners. The curse that followed. Once the Morrison family found out they had won the Mega Millions, their life changed instantly. Along with the wealth came unwanted attention from the media. Before the family could even figure out what they wanted to do, people were already outside their house with cameras. Reporters started calling them non-stop, and paparazzi were parked outside. Even basic things like going to the store suddenly became a problem for them. Angel's family had to sneak out the back door just to grab groceries. Her parents had always been private people, so being swarmed by the press felt overwhelming to them. That's when her mom decided they needed decided to disappear for a while. She had always dreamed of going to Hawaii, so that's where they went. The whole family flew out and they spent time away from the noise. It was the first real vacation they had ever taken. It was also the first time Angel saw her parents truly relax. They were not worrying about bills or mortgages, or how to stretch their last few dollars. For once, they were just living. When they got back to New York, it was time for a fresh start. They moved out of their old home, which had been falling apart for years, and bought a mansion in Port Jefferson. And not just a bigger house, this place was on another level. It had 2 pools, one indoor and one outdoor. There was a gym, a fancy kitchen, and even a 14-karat gold faucet. The house was nearly 13,000 square feet, compared to the 3,000 square foot home that they had before. It was more space than they had ever had. For the first time in her life, Angel had her own room. It was a whole new world for her. Her mom really took to the new place. She started swimming regularly, got healthier, and lost weight. Her dad used the indoor pool for his back issues. The kitchen became a place where they could finally eat well. Before the win, meals were whatever they could afford. They would often eat cheap and processed food. But now they switched to fresh groceries, organic food, and healthier options. They even hired a chef for a short while, someone who helped cook nutritious meals, and a personal trainer who guided them through workouts at home. For a few months, it felt like they were living the dream. But they were careful too. Angel's parents did not want the money to ruin them, so they brought in a financial advisor early on. They wanted to invest smartly, save for the future, and avoid falling into the trap so many lottery winners do. Still, they let themselves enjoy a few things. They bought new cars, they went on that one big Hawaii trip, and they furnished their new home with everything they needed. But beyond that, they kept things reasonable. Then came the people they had not spoken to in years, distant relatives, former friends, strangers. Suddenly, everyone had a need or a request. Some wanted money, some wanted gifts, others just wanted to be close to the family. Angel even overheard a girl at school saying she only wanted to hang out with her so she could swim in the indoor pool. When Angel heard about this, she cut that person off instantly. Just like Angel, her parents were not naive. They gave when they could, but they did not let others take advantage of them. Even so, the problems kept coming. The county that had once shut down their homeless shelters years earlier came back with a lawsuit. They accused Angel's parents of owing money related to the shelters. This time, though, they had the resources to fight back. They took the case to court and won. The county had no real evidence, but of course, the news only covered the accusation, not the victory. People started gossiping about them and accusing them of false things. One random website even posted that Angel had died. She had to go online and debunk the news. Somewhere in the middle of all this, Angel's dad tried to chase a dream. He opened a restaurant and named it the Crystal Rose after Angel's grandmother. It was located in Port Jeff and ran for 5 years. Her sister managed the place, but after she got pregnant, things fell apart. Staff turnover, unstable chefs, and high pressure made it hard to keep going. Eventually, her dad shut it down. He didn't try another business after that. Eventually, the family decided the mansion was too much, not just in size, but in cost as well. Heating the indoor pool alone was expensive. They did not need all that space anymore. So they sold the mansion and moved into a smaller house. Then later, they relocated entirely to North Carolina. Angel changed too. The win gave her confidence. She started opening up more, becoming funnier and more outgoing. But it also meant she grew up differently than her sisters. They remembered what it was like to be truly poor. Angel, who was younger, got used to having money around. That changed when she turned 25. Her parents sat her down and said it was time to start her own life, to earn her own money. And she agreed. And that's when she started working in investigations, including fieldwork, serving subpoenas, and handling fraud cases. She says that initially that was tough for her, but eventually she got the hang of it. And now she is proud to say that she makes her own money and supports herself. Her parents, despite everything, stayed grounded. Her dad still works as a therapist. He has a master's in social work and genuinely loves helping people. Her mom, on the other hand, got deeper into energy healing, reflexology, and feng shui. Looking back, the money did not fix everything, but it helped them breathe, let them choose how to live. It gave them options, and even though it brought problems, it also brought peace. So were they just super lucky compared to everyone else who plays the lottery and never wins? Well, Angel doesn't think so, and the way she explains it, the way her story played out, there might actually be something to it. The secrets to winning the lottery. Let's be clear up front, winning the lottery is statistically improbable. The odds of winning the Mega Millions jackpot are about 1 in 302 million. You can't game it, nor can you calculate a winning formula. But when you look closely at the decisions, mindset, and events that surrounded Angel's family just before they won, you start to see a pattern. First, let's look at timing. The Morrison family won in 2009, at a moment when they were in deep financial trouble. They were a large family and they were just days away from losing their home. Their car registrations were expired, their income sources had dried up, and they were barely getting by. But even in that state, they had a track record of giving. For several years before the win, Angel's parents had run multiple homeless shelters across Suffolk County. They housed and supported vulnerable people across 5 separate locations. Even though they were struggling themselves, they spent years trying to keep others off the street. Now, if we're trying to understand how or why they won, it might sound like a stretch to say that it was because they were good people. But if you strip away the superstition and look at human behavior, a clearer explanation might be this: they consistently gave value to others, even when it hurt. They were not living with selfishness, and that mindset tends to create awareness, focus, and some might argue, alignment with opportunity. Not only that, Angel revealed that a few weeks before the winning ticket was bought, Angel had a strong internal sense that something was coming. She told her sister about it and said that it was not based on anything she saw or heard. It was just a gut feeling. That same kind of intuitive tug came back the day they went to the convenience store. She saw the $165 million jackpot on the sign and told her mom to play. That part of the story sounds like chance, and maybe it was, but what makes it compelling is the insistence. Angel felt something, could not explain it, and did not back down. Whether you believe in intuition or not, the science around it is real. Intuition is a mix of subconscious processing, emotional memory, and pattern recognition. It happens fast and often without words. Most people dismiss it, but Angel didn't. She acted on it, and when people act on intuition instead of pushing it aside, they place themselves in rare decision-making zones, the kind that often leads to unexpected results. The method of choosing numbers is also worth noting. Her mom did not pick familiar numbers. She didn't play the same combinations every week. She chose Quick Pick, where she let the machine generate the line. That removes emotional attachment and gives you truly random results, which statistically increases fairness. Most winners of large jackpots, according to multiple reports, used Quick Pick tickets and not hand-picked numbers. So what you have here is a low-income family, under pressure, acting on a strong inner sense, letting go of control and still showing up to play, even if they did not believe it would work. That balance between surrender and action is often underestimated. And then there is the energy side of things. Angel's mom believed deeply in energy alignment, specifically Feng Shui, which is the traditional Chinese practice of arranging living spaces to encourage balance and harmony. She applied it in their home regularly, even when they were broke. She used to live with positive thinking, and in a way that allowed good energy to circulate. Even when they moved into the mansion after the win, she brought their original goldfish and set up a pond in a specific area of the house. She believed the fish brought in good fortune and maintained energy flow. Is there scientific proof for Feng Shui? Not exactly in the way we would measure weather or physics, but psychology has shown repeatedly that our environment impacts our mental clarity, decision-making, and even emotional health. So in that sense, arranging a space with care and intention absolutely affects how people function and how they notice or act on gut feelings. Another thing is that they were not obsessed with winning. Her mom didn't buy hundreds of tickets. She was not playing every draw. In fact, she almost didn't buy one at all that day. The win came when they were not chasing, when they had just enough space open to receive. In the end, what made Angel's story different was not just that her family won, it was how they won and who they were when they did. So if you're asking what the secret to winning the lottery is, you won't find it in a pattern of numbers, but you might find it in the pattern of behavior, like openness to intuition, humility in the face of hardship, and action without obsession. The Morrison family was not just lucky, they were in the right space, mentally, emotionally, and even physically, to receive something rare. That might not guarantee a jackpot, but it definitely changes the odds of noticing when your moment finally arrives. If you're still curious if manifestation or intuition really works when it comes to winning the lottery, then watch the next video. You will get to see real stories of people who trusted their gut, believed in the outcome, and actually won millions of dollars. Click now to find out how it really happened.